Hey traders, so today's topic is going to be a little bit more casual. Let's talk about stop proving yourself to someone else. Throughout my entire career, I can tell you honestly, especially when you first started trading, on your first and second year, when you don't make money and yet you are consistently losing money, there'll be a lot of doubters, there'll be a lot of haters, there'll be a lot of naysayers trying to say, hey, why are you doing this? Hey, Neo, why don't you find a job? Why don't you settle for less? Why don't you go for a 9 to 5? Why don't you study your PhD and get a better qualification and go for something else? You know, looking back at all these years of struggles, success, going back to square one, success and succeed again, everything was worth it because entrepreneurship, trading in general, I call it an entrepreneurial journey, and also at the same time running my own community. Both have been an extremely challenging task. And trust me, lots of people come into the market with the mindset of I want to become a full-time trader. It is not easy. And I can tell you honestly, the first time I became a full-time trader was about 3 years ago. About 3 year or 3 year plus ago, I decided to go all in and I went full-time. And the transition from a part-time trader to a full-time trader was extremely difficult psychologically because when you have trading as your main source of income, there will be a lot of pressure. And trust me, some days when you're sitting at home, especially when you don't make money at the beginning, when your surroundings are trying to tell you to give up, when your parents are trying to convince you to stop trading, go for something else. Trading is not a proper job. Hashtag. It really took me a lot of courage and confidence to just remain silent. Sometimes remain silent is the biggest answer, is the best response because you see, life is realistic, the world is realistic, is cruel. The only way you can prove it to someone else that this industry is really meant for you, that this route, this path that you have chosen is really something for you, is to show them your result. Let's say today, if I'm trading the financial market and I'm consistently losing money and I can't see any sort of result, and I try to convince my wife and say I'm gonna become a good trader one day, someday I'm gonna make it, or I convince my parents. Do you think your words are going to really voice out? No. They have no power behind your words because you have not made it. That's why the topic, as per the topic of this video, if today your goal, sorry, I'm having a little bit flu right now. If your goal is to really and say, I want to become a good trader, I want to become a consistently profitable trader, I want to become a full-time trader, then it is your duty right now to start ignoring noises and distractions. Distractions as in anything that would slightly pull you down are considered a distraction, whether it could be your family, whether if it could be your parent, it could be your siblings. If you find that those people are consistently giving you negative feedback or demotivating you, then I'm sorry to say, temporarily you have to step back and sort of isolate yourself away from them. I'm not trying to say don't care about your parents, don't care about your loved ones, but what I'm trying to say is you need at least 2 to 3 years of monk mode, of really just go all in behavior, go all in mindset, and say, hey, for the next 2 to 3 years, until I make some sort of results, otherwise I'm not going to disclose or share too much about my journey. In my first and second year of trading, I never came out to the public and talk about my journey because I know I wasn't there yet. Psychologically, in terms of knowledge, in terms of experience, in terms of skill set, I was below the par. But deep down, inside my heart, inside my inner self, I have one thing that made me gone through all of these difficulties, all of these hiccups, all of these challenges was I believed in myself. I had faith in myself. Some of you may not know, my journey has been hell of a roller coaster. I made good money in trading on my first and second year, specifically on second year. Throw them all into a business, lost everything, went back to zero. Not just zero, I was in heavy debt, over 6 figures debt, and I have to crawl back again. And that process of crawling back up again really took all of my capacity, all of my energy out of myself. And I was so burnt out at one point, I even thought of killing myself. Honestly, there was time where I was standing at the balcony. I didn't have the money because I was alone in Australia. I when I was the most broke time, I was alone in Australia. When I came back to Malaysia, which is my home country where I'm staying at right now, obviously now I'm at France, Strasbourg, but Malaysia is my home. There were times where I stood at the balcony and I just asked myself, what am I doing? Am I really choosing the right path? Am I meant for this difficult entrepreneurial journey? Or should I just really go get a job or do something else? Do a salesperson, do anything, high income job, high income skill set. But the answer was always, whenever I felt like giving up, there was some sort of just motivation, just inner motivation that tells me, hey Neil, you can't give up. If you give up right now, you really have just lost everything. So what I'm trying to say is, really, if your goal today is to really want to become a good trader, there are a few tips that I will tell you, or don't say tips. There are a few things that you have to know before you even start stepping into this really tough journey. First thing, you're going to fail a lot of times. You're going to feel like you're completely defeated, and you'll feel like killing yourself from time to time. You're going to receive a lot of negative feedbacks, a lot of doubts. Fourth, once you've made it in trading, it doesn't mean you have truly made it, because being success in one thing, but staying at the top is a different thing. I believe this is a common thing that a lot of successful entrepreneurs talk about on YouTube as well. Being successful is one thing, but how do you not make sure if it's not an overnight success, it's a staircase success, and you can stay at the top? That's the goal. If today you're successful, yes, it's good. But what if you only stay successful for one day, 1 month, 2 months? No, you want to stay at the top for as the longest until you stop. That was the problem that I struggled with a lot. I would occasionally make a lot of money in trading back then, about 3 years ago, and I'll give all of them back, because whether if I overtraded, I revenge traded, I failed, I took a lot of my money and reinvested in something else, and I failed terribly, I will occasionally feel like I'm at the top, I make a couple 100,000, and I lose everything back. So today, if let's say you have finally made it in trading, I want all of you to settle down and really look at yourself and say, I'm extremely blessed. I'm grateful for whatever I have achieved. I need to find ways to protect the money. Whether if you reinvest it into real estate, reinvest it into something, a safer asset, safer investment instruments or whatever. It could be S&Ps, it could be the ETF or whatever. Just know that you are going to feel like you are back to square one a lot of times, and that's exactly what happened in my entire journey. There were times where I feel like I'm at the top, and the next month I feel like I'm at the rock bottom, and then I go back up again after a few months, and I go back down the rock bottom again. That the process just keep on rise and repeat. And again, some of the challenges in trading that I have encountered was I failed in a business. I lost everything when I went into six figures debt. To be specific, it was about $150,000 debt USD, which was a lot considering now I'm 25 years old. When I was in debt, I was 22 years old, 21 to 22 years old. So imagine 21 years old kid in six figures debt. Most people can't handle it, right? Another thing is there were also a lot of challenges along the way, whether it was I made a lot of money, as I said, I gave all of them back, and also something like my forex fund. For example, like my forex fund, a lot of you may not know I had 600k with MFF, my forex fund, and when they went down, a lot of people text me and saying, is it going to affect you? And I kept quiet because I didn't want to disclose it publicly. But honestly speaking, I had 600k with them. There's a lot of cash flow for me. I have my personal capital. I also have profit capital. When MFF went down, don't you all think that it was sort of it was not rock bottom for me, but it was a day where I remained silent and said, hey, 600k, if I was able to generate 5 to 8% return a month, that's a lot of cash flow. So for me at that time when MFF went down, it was really a big stone to me as well. And I really asked myself, hey, now I lost this amount of potential cash flow, what should I do next? So there's a lot of adjustment that has to be done even when you've made it in trading. And also like currently True Forex Fund went down, and personally, again, I have my personal capital. I have good decent amount of personal capital. TFF, I have 400k funded with them as well. They went down. What can I do? I can't do anything. All right. So these are a lot of the unpredictable, and you just have to suck it up and deal with it. If your life has always been around, I'm afraid of other people talking bad about me, I'm concerned about how others think about me, I'm concerned about other people's opinion about myself, then in life it's hard to make it to the top. Because the only way you can make it to the top, whether it's trading or in life in general, is to be able to have the tunnel vision and say, I know exactly what I want. Their opinion remain their opinion. All right, I know what I want, I know what I'm doing, and I'm gonna stick to the process, and I'm gonna just follow my journey and see whether if they're correct or not. And that has been my biggest mindset. Right, I do whatever that I want, whatever that I believe is going to benefit me in the long term when I'm old, and I stick to it. And I'm glad that obviously right now I have a decent living. As you all can see, I can just travel for a month without much worry, and I can trade when I'm traveling. I can enjoy some of the lifestyle that I've been always wanted, and I can honestly just tell the younger self 5 years ago, that little Neo, and say maybe we've made it a little bit, but the journey is still far, still a long process, and I believe that within the next 5 years, hopefully I can become 8 figures. All right, 8 figures as in having 10 millions under my own name. All right, that would be my long-term goal. All right, so I hope all of you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit random, it's a little bit here and there, it's all over the place, it doesn't have any specific topic, but guess what? That's my style, right? I like it. And if you like the video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.